Hello and welcome to Google Play. I'm Chris Hewitt. Now, Star Trek Into Darkness is one of the most eagerly anticipated movies of the summer, and I'm delighted now to be joined by the man who is the villain of the piece, the man who's front and centre on the posters behind me, and the man who plays the enigmatic and malevolent John Harrison. It is, of course, Benedict Cumberbatch. Hello, sir.
Hello,
thanks for joining us.
How are you? Lovely to be here.
I request permission to go after him.
Starfleet is not about vendetta, Kirk.
Maybe it should be, sir.
Jim, you're not actually going after this guy, are you?
I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. I only know what I can do.
You're a very popular man.
Yes. Am I?
Well, I'll explain why, because
Okay, go tell me.
we asked users on Google Plus and various other social networks to send in questions for you.
Okay.
And they bombarded us. It was like photon torpedoes. They just bombarded us with questions. They had
I like the
many
reference.
questions. Thank you very much
Brilliant.
indeed. Some of them were very personal. They wanted to know your favourite fruit, favourite perfume.
That's outrageous. That's really close
Yeah.
to the skin.
The colour of your toothbrush.
Terrible joke.
Yeah.
I can't
That was good.
over it.
No, I got it.
I can't get away with it. My favourite toothbrush.
No, the colour of your toothbrush.
Colour of my toothbrush.
Yeah. I think it's very invasive.
Yeah, I mean, once people start to imagine what actually cleans my teeth at night and in the morning, then I start to worry a little bit, you know. As I like to remain a little bit enigmatic, so the colour of my toothbrush will remain a secret.
Okay. Well, we'll ignore that one.
All right.
We have some of the very best ones here. We'll start off with the first one. It is from Cumberbatch Web.
Right.
You may know those guys. Adam, Montserrat, and Edric, who all asked roughly at the same time.
Yeah.
You've got an incredible fan base for your work in Sherlock.
Yeah.
And working on Star Trek obviously opens you to an even bigger one.
Yeah.
Did it intimidate you to work in a film franchise with such a rich history, high expectations, and a focal fan base?
That was a good question. Yes and no, but basically, the first film, JJ's first outing with Star Trek 2009, made me realise that the franchise was in very safe hands, and that, to be honest, he's such an extraordinary filmmaker and human being. If I was pleasing his idea of what he wanted my character to be within our version of Trekdom, then that was the only concern or preoccupation I had to have with expectations, because otherwise that way madness lies. You're never going to be everyone's meat. Someone's going to be throwing up in the corner going, this guy is horrendous. and that's fine, that's allowed, that's what the world's about. But, you know, I'm very aware, of course, of how possessive and rightfully so Trekkies are. You know, there's a huge deal of respect I have for them, because it's not just a name for a group of fans. It's actually about a level of knowledge and understanding of the subject matter. But it's a strange thing, because it actually then takes ownership of what it is, which originally was a creative process and received by them as an audience, and now the audience has sort of taken control of it. So there's good and bad with that. There's knowledge which I completely bow to, and would love to, you know, immerse myself in, and have done since doing the film. So yeah, I think I was, my fears, which were rightfully there, obviously, because of their kind of presence, although I have to say a lot of them are incredibly benevolent. I mean, however vocal they may be about what they like or don't like, it's their opinions. They're not going to kill me, I hope. But you know, it's just they're normal human beings who just have a real enjoyment of quite exceptionally rich, you know, materially rich genre. And cult that is Star Trek.
Did you tap into that when you were...
No, not in preparation. Again, for the same reasons. I wanted to kind of be free of my own fears of what I was trying to live up to or be, and what I was joining and being a part of. But I can step back now a little, and I have done and watched a lot more than I remembered having watched sporadically as a child, both in film and television form, and just been blown away by the level of sophistication, dry wit, generosity, incredible sort of condensing of morality plays that these episodes had. I mean, so many issue-driven drama highlights, whether it be first interracial kiss or just tackling any kind of idea of identity and place and purpose and belonging, and also this wonderful sort of utopian ideal of what democracy in the future could be, this all-encompassing star fleet of you know, a universe that's tied by bonds of a democracy rather than war and splintered savagery and all the other things that threaten it. And it's interesting, I think what JJ does so generously in a sort of Shakespearean way, especially with my character, is flesh that out. So I feel, you know, that he brings that generosity in a Shakespearean way to all of his characters in the way that the original series does as well. And so I hope that's something that honours their intentions and their expectations, I should say.
The second question is from Nadia, who asks, do you have anything in common with John Harrison?
I look a bit like him. although I've got a little bit more light in my eyes normally than I do in the poster. No, so I'm being very facetious. Do I have anything in common with him? Well, yeah, I'm very loyal. I'm quite tribal about the people that I care about. I'm fiercely defensive of those who are close to me and that I love, and that sort of includes this family of people that I've just worked with on this film. It's a powerful reflection that is seamed all the way through JJ's work of family and connections and friendships and loyalty, and it pays off because it's something that every audience member can empathise with, and it doesn't close it down as being just a sci-fi film or even an action thriller. It's something that everyone can enjoy for that very reason. And I would say that is an aspect that I share with him and Anna Harrison to a degree, because while his acts may be incredibly violent and vicious and unremitting, the purpose behind them, the intention's very pure and based on a moral drive and a very human passion to fight for the underdog, to fight for the right and survival of his people, his tribe, and to make sure that there is an element of balance being redressed in the powers of the modern or futuristic landscape that he's in. And I feel that. He's a terrorist, and one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter, and terrorism is often born, not always, but often born out of a minority struggle for understanding and some kind of ability to answer politically where they're at with superpowers or what we deem as being democracy being imposed on them, or despotism or lack of rule of law. And desperate times call for desperate measures, and so I think it's no surprise that in popular culture there are a lot of bad guys who have motivations that are premised in terrorism because of that. It's permeated our popular culture, and we're still making sense of it because it is sadly a modern reality.
Outnumbered.
So we come out shooting.
I am better.
At what?
Everything.
Sharon, Saz, India, Aggie, Annie, and Aurora Luna, great name, all want to know, is it more fun playing a villain than a hero, and was it hard to find your naughty side?
See, this is a bit like the theatre, television, radio, film question. It's not very easy to sort of give a generic answer because, especially this one, he's complex and he's not, I would say, just a villain. That's the whole point of him, as you'll see. He's somebody who demands a lot of sympathy and respect. So as far as getting my badass, kick-ass, action man stuff on, yeah, that's very enjoyable. And to try and control and antagonise such extraordinarily iconic protagonists as Kirk and Spock, it was great fun and wonderful to work that out with Chris and Zach, who are just fantastic actors and really good friends as well. So that was fun. It was great fun. And as far as throwing people against walls and running through glass and jump and still be flying through the air like you do in a flying dream where your pace gets bigger and you suddenly start to take off. That's what's happened whenever I've had a flying dream. And to be able to do that in real life with a harness and wires and like a rehearsed stunt rig is just dreamy. It's amazing. It's really, really exciting. And it was an incredible stunt team. Marcus and Martin van der Boer, my incredible stunt double, and I would work out with Zach's stunt double all the time. We'd be fighting and rehearsing these moves and changing things that JJ did like or didn't like, and accentuating different moves and changing the psychology of the fights. And I'm thrilled to sit back in a theatre now and watch that and go, wow, that's me doing that. And it's something I've always wanted to do, and I know I can. I was pretty sure I could have a good go at it. Not that I knew I could do it, but with those kind of people helping you to do it, you can't really fail. And I think the results are pretty ferocious. So yeah, the short answer is yes. I enjoy getting my bad on.
You have no idea what you have done. I will walk over your cold corpses.
From Cumberbatch Collins, what was the funniest thing that happened on set?
Oh gosh, there were many. I think there was a very big prank played on me, which by now is probably common knowledge, this whole photon cream thing. Basically, we got to NIF, which is this place that is sci-fi. It actually exists, though, and Ed Moses, who runs it, I think is the first person I've ever met who's yet to win a Nobel Prize, but will. And rather like his aims, it's a question of when, not if, at NIF. That's my little catchphrase for NIF. It's called the National Ignition Facility. It's in Livermore, California, near San Francisco.
Yeah.
And we had to have quite a high level of security clearance to get onto it, to film there. It was a miracle that we were actually there. We were in sci-fi land as sci-fi characters, and the trade-off between people working in this facility and us was a beautiful, beautiful thing. But in amongst all of that, you were in a building which fires lasers around a chemical plant-sized industrial complex to a point that is half the breadth of a human hair of hydrogen. And the idea is that by fusing hydrogen in that moment, the only shot would be water and the most extraordinary amount of energy. So it's a pure, unpolluting, and incredibly efficient form of producing energy. When it's going to happen, when it actually happens, when it will work, which I do believe it will. I hope to God it will. And so anyway, that's the context for now. Me telling you a story about an actor who's played Stephen Hawking, Oppenheimer, Joseph Hooker, who's admittedly a botanist, but still, a scientist who got his brain on, as opposed to his bad on, and got completely gulled by Simon Pegg and Chris Pine, who convinced me, along with the collusion of the entire crew, in quite a creepy way. It was a bit sort of, body snatcherish. It's like everyone was doing it. It's like, what's going on? Photon cream. So you put photon cream in dots around your face. You don't even rub it in. You just put it in dots around your face. I thought something to do with the flows of certain things, whether it be, your temples do conduct an awful lot of your thermostatic, monitoring. Altering for your body temperature. It's an old trick to put ice cubes on your wrists to cool you down, and likewise your forehead. And I thought, that makes sense. Pressure points, they're very integral to your system's workings. And also JJ had just given me like a huge page of dialogue. I had to say it at speed. I was running through corridors, getting a phaser out and being all action man-y and talking at a million miles an hour. Not unlike another character I play, but it was given to me at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I was doing it half an hour later. So I was in a real world of wow. And then this photon cream thing was laid on me, and then also I was told that you had to shake the neutrons off as well. You had to do that to shake the neutrons off. And the neutrons are harmless elements of an atom. I don't really want. Anyway, I'll do it. And the most burly kind of crotch-grabbing, spittoon-spitting. Yeehaw Americana, just got off my horse guy, the most manly American grip I've met. Was like Maureen Benedict, he was like sort of Lee Marvin, but he was when Tommy Gormley, our first, was going, okay, everybody, we've got to shake down, you've got to do it, shake the neutrons off, shake the protons off. He was doing it. Shaking them off. And Chris is going, I don't feel too good, mate. I've got a bit of a headache. And Simon's going, yeah, me too. I'm stuck out. Is this really safe to me? I don't know. And then at lunchtime, we were all given this thing to sign, and that was supposed to be the moment by which we'd done the shakedown and the cream about 3 or 4 times in the morning. And that was the moment that I was supposed to read this disclaimer and see what it said. I didn't. I was so concerned about. Gormley had his birthday the day before, and he was a bit hungover. Big day, lots of action to get through. Bit of a, tense moment. I thought, oh Christ, the guy's getting really angry. He's saying we've got to get thrown off the set unless we sign this thing. I'll just sign it. And JJ kept on coming up to me again, going, and that's all he could do. He just literally went. And then other people would sort of come up to me. One AD, I turned to him and went, my signature's terrible. Should I put I gotta do capital letters for my name. Do you think that's a good idea? And he just went, yeah. And walked away. I was like, that's charming. I'm just trying to be helpful. What's funny about that? And then later in the afternoon, they finally let it go when we were near wrap, and Simon was given it to read out, and I don't know if he did it on purpose, but he did a really bad job of it, and JJ went, I forgot, give it to the theatre actor, give it to the Olivier Award winner. So I picked it up and looked at it, and went, I did my best. I am proud, puffed-cheeked and chested kind of, oratory stance, and announced very loudly that I, actor in Star Trek Into Darkness, henceforward known as the HH Project in the facility of National Ignition Facility, hereafter known as NIF, do hereby say that I am fully aware that neutron cream is totally useless. What? And the whole crew just went, just crying. I mean, I've never heard laughter like it. And it was like, it went on for about 5 minutes, and I was sort of standing there just laughing and crying out of sheer embarrassment and also joy. It was a very nice moment. It was that, they knew that they could do that to me, and I'd take it in good faith, and it was it was very much what the whole thing was about.
Oh man, fantastic.
It's great fun. It's great
Tell me
fun.
that's on the DVD.
I hope it will be. I think it will. I've got a sneaky feeling it might be.
Okay.
I really do. And yeah, there are further episodes to that story.
Okay.
So.
Because you and Simon Pegg, Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto had a much publicised or much tweeted about night out.
Have
as
you got
well.
the?
How was
yeah.
that? I haven't got the pictures.
Yeah,
there's
but
been-
you know
I
our
know.
favourite one was
Yeah.
of us all in. We were remodelled into the Zoolander Jeep with shakes going. It's one of those things, those slightly moving kind of things that they do. God, the internet is a kind of breeding ground for the most crazy and inventive stuff, and that was a moment of enjoying that. We had a really good night in San Francisco, and it was hysterically funny.
Okay, this is the last question now. This is a question from the staff at Google Play, who all
Hello,
want to know,
staff at Google Play.
Indeed. Out of the previous Star Trek movies, and there are
Yeah.
11, of course, which is your favourite?
The second one's quite good, I hear. That's quite enjoyable. I
pretty
enjoyed
good,
the
yeah.
second film
Yeah.
a lot. I mean, the even numbers thing, definitely.
Oh,
I
you
think
subscribe to that
it's
theory, the even numbers?
a little bit, but you know, I enjoyed elements of all of them, and I think, you know, they're such different incarnations, Picard and Kirk, and I loved what Patrick Stewart did with it. It was great to see an English actor bring that kind of gravitas, Shakespearean gravitas, to what is a very Shakespearean kind of subject. And like I've been saying, you know, the Trek universe treats its characters with profound generosity in the same way as JJ does in our outing. So, yeah.
Even numbered. This is movie 12.
This is, yeah.
So the rule continues.
Well, thank you very much for saying that.
There you go. Absolutely. Well, and that's all the time we have. Benedict
Great.
Cumberbatch, thanks so much for
Pleasure.
joining us.
Thank you. Lovely
And
to see you again.
thank you very much indeed. And head over to Google Play now to get cracking deals on all your favourite Star Trek movies. Until next time, goodbye.